Hey, what's going on, guys? Mr. John Lee here. And so I just wanted to make this video. Welcome back if you're a subscriber. If not, you should consider reaching down with your little bitty or big fat fingers and hitting that like and subscribe, share, favorite, all those funny things about this video, to the algorithms, about the algorithms. Pushes this message, whether you like it or not, just kind of helps me. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. At some point, maybe I could get paid if my content is decent enough that it's somewhat entertaining or useful or you know, I'm not sure if the right word perpetuates, more positive dialogue or understanding. So I just wanted to make a video of the responses that I got to this video, and this video was about where's all the money, all the Doge savings. Remember at the beginning of the year, 2025, Doge came in, they shut down all this stuff, they saved all this money. Where'd all that money go? That's kind of what this video was about. All the cuts to the federal government, all these different departments, and waste, fraud, and abuse. Why wasn't that money given back to the American people? And so I made a video about it, just asking, where's all the money at? And here's what some of the comments were that wrote in. At Curtis Jones X4H wrote in and said one day ago, "Hey Redbeard, you got to have a little patience. Biden had 4 full years to fuck up our country. Not even a magician can fix all that in just a few months. As FPR, the food stamp issue, that's on Hakeem and the Democratic Party. And another thing, quit believing everything you read." Well, I just want to say thank you at Curtis Jones X4H for writing in and giving us your 2 cents. At Tamra_Chance wrote in 2 days ago and said, "MAGA loves PD files. Ukraine has nothing to do with Mike Johnson shutting down the government." At Dave Ross 1638 replied to that 2 days ago and said, "Republicans voted yes, Democrats voted no. The shutdown is on the Democrats." And so I just wanted to give you guys, kind of you can kind of go through here and see the comments yourself, but, they get better. So just hang tight. 19 hours ago, at Patrick Jones 6659, if you got a shout out or a comment to any of these, be sure and comment below what you think about it. Wrote in and said, "You say it like people are going to receive the back benefits retroactive once the Dems vote to reopen the government. No money is being saved or not spent, only delayed for political reasons. I do not agree with." Thank you at Patrick Jones 6659 for writing in and sharing your 2 cents. At Kim Williams 9417 wrote in and said 3 hours ago, "People need to go back to work." You guys can drop a comment. Let me know what you think on that. At Theo Jackson 3853 wrote in and said 2 days ago, "Blame Pelosi for your dependency on the government. Your USA is so massively huge, it takes a year or two to see the result. Dang, son, use your brains." Thank you at Theo Jackson 3853 for writing in and sharing your brilliance with all of us, which was replied to 2 days ago by at the second Primarch, "Yet we will still destroy whatever shithole you live in." At Tamra Chance replied to that comment 2 days ago and said, "Republicans control all 3 branches. You are covering for a PD file prez." To which at Theo Jackson 3853 wrote in and said and replied to that 21 hours ago at Tamra_Chance show the proof. Which brings us to our next one. 1 day ago, at Kaleka Gaming wrote in and shared their thoughts. "I think you should do some research. We did a currency swap with Argentina. We didn't just give them 20 billion illegal. We didn't just give them 20 billion. Illegal immigrants pay taxes, but it's at the expense of our veterans and us Americans that don't have jobs and are homeless. Illegal immigrants are hard workers. However, they have a stolen or borrowed Social Security number to work in America. I did not know that. I don't have a problem with people wanting to come to America to get a job and build a better life. However, when they don't come the right way or certain criminals come for the wrong reason, which is to bring drugs and terrorism into the U.S., it comprises our country. Not sure what that means, but maybe comprises. People need to learn to separate how they feel about Trump's past actions with his decisions he is making for the better of our country. Also, the government has the money for SNAP. It's just Congress isn't in session to approve the bill to get funding out to SNAP programs. Hence the government shutdown. And so one of my issues is, I don't think we realize the implications of that type of shutdown, and we don't have the support. That's why we have that safety net. And when the government, and the big businesses are doing well and they're giving tax cuts to the rich, it really doesn't make sense that we penalize the most vulnerable, portion of the population. At RS-KQ1SK wrote in 2 days ago and said, the Democrats stole our money. They don't care if people go hungry on Thanksgiving. Trust me, they'll be eating good. They won't be going without. At Mike Markison V2K 2 days ago replied to that with 4 laugh cry faces. To which at RS-KQ1SK replied 2 days ago at Mike Markison V2K, hopefully in a jail cell. 8 laugh cry face emojis. To which at Justin Graves 1291 replied 2 days ago to that comment, the arrow upward, has family trunk. Laugh cry face emoji. And so I just want you guys to see, this is how I see it on my phone. This is how I see it on my end. At Lee Chicks 6144 wrote in and said 2 days ago, they're making sure the elites have enough money to make bunkers or leave the planet. Let me know if you understand. Heart emoji. At John Ware-J4V wrote in 3 hours ago and said, a little simple math. Last time I checked, there were 104 million households in the United States. How many of those need assistance? Let's say 20%. It might be more or less depending on your definition of needing assistance. That means 20,800,000 households. $20 billion sounds like a lot of money, right? $20 billion would mean that each household that needs assistance would get a one-time check for less than $1,000. No country in the world has or can raise the kind of money that would give every household a middle-class standard of living. Even if you bled every billionaire dry, it would only be a short-term fix that wouldn't approach your goals. You know what would help? Quit trying to dismantle capitalism and rebuild our society along lines that make sense. Strong nuclear families that teach their children to value things like integrity, honesty, and hard work. Now, while I agree with a lot of what that is being said there, I do think that we may need to dismantle capitalism, because I think capitalism is what's corrupting the people at the top who are making the most to, bribe our politicians to push their own personal agendas that allows them to get richer and cause a bigger divide between the middle class. The gap of the increase. We're not all coming up together anymore, evenly and equally. Whereas, in the 70s and prior to that, we did see that growth. Let's see. But thank you at John Ware-J4V 3 hours ago for writing in and sharing your brilliance. 1 day ago at Bullrun-E7T wrote in and said, thank your politicians. Thank you at Bullrun. We appreciate you. At The End 1990 2 hours ago wrote in and said, nah, we can do that perfectly fine. Only need 5 more Democrats to vote with the Republicans to be able to feed you guys again. 2 laugh cry face emojis. Now, I don't know why everybody includes me on things just because I have an opinion about it, but that's okay. Thank you at The End 1990 for writing in and sharing your brilliance. At Mike's Lear 6291 wrote in an hour ago and said, in case you just got out of hibernation, we've been in a deficit for God knows how many years. That's where your money is at. Thank you at Mike's Lear 6291 for writing in and sharing with all of us your brilliance. At Frankie V772 1 day ago wrote in and said, I no longer believe we are the wealthiest. I now believe we have the highest debt of any country in the world. As this point, America is running and surviving on credit, which someday will become due. I used to think that when I was younger until I thought, you know what? Who fucking cares? Obviously, they just print money. Obviously, they're just creating a system of, make-believe and make-believe reality, and that's how our government kind of chooses to live. We keep the poor and the impoverished and the most vulnerable just outside of reach of actual middle class. At Caleb Driver dash MY1JG wrote in 2 days ago and said, don't forget all the money we sent to Israel. In which, I think that's a pretty good point. I don't think we should send any money outside of the U.S. at all, as long as we have poverty in the United States, inside our own borders. So thank you at Caleb Driver dash my1JG for writing in and saying that and sharing your brilliance with us 2 days ago. At Willie Pelzer 384 wrote in 2 days ago and said, do you comprehend how much $1 trillion is and how many cuts it takes to make up $1 trillion? At least Trump is trying. No one else has for many years. To which at Teresa Eats replied 2 days ago, Trump added $2 trillion to the deficit. At Teresa Eats also replied 2 days ago, Trump added $2 trillion to the deficit. Thank you at Teresa Eats and at Willie Pelzer 384 for writing in and sharing with all of us your brilliance. At Sean AR25 wrote in 2 days ago and said, Argentina, Ukraine, Israel, lobbyists, corporations, elites, etc. Well, at least he answered my question. At my bug guy pest something, our interest rate on our debt is outpacing our slow economic growth. Let that sink in. Thank you at my bug guy pest all something. We appreciate you writing in and sharing with all of us your brilliance. At Andrew Jones 1751 wrote in 16 hours ago and said, nah, it's worse. The money is there, but Congress hasn't apportioned it yet. Thank you, Andrew Jones 1751 for writing in 16 hours ago and sharing with all of us your brilliance. At Teresa Eats also commented 2 days ago, $4.3 billion per year to Israel, $11 million per day. Our tax dollars go to pay for Israel medical, including abortions, and higher education. What about Americans? I share that sentiment at Teresa Eats. We appreciate you writing in and sharing with all of us your brilliance. And the most current comment to this video is at oldstoner-o2r wrote in 43 minutes ago and shared this brilliance with all of us. Most who get stamps don't deserve it. The ones who really need it can't get it. And those are the comments. I just wanted to be, absolutely transparent and share with you guys what I'm seeing on my side. I think I might start to do that as just kind of a test, and I just want to see how it goes, to see what you guys think. If you have anything to say about any of those comments or any of those theories, philosophies, conspiracies, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. Otherwise, like and subscribe. Ring all the bells and whistles for notifications and algorithms. I'm on to the next one. We'll see you next time.